Ladies and gentlemen, Mike here, Dezaras, Prime back with another Transformers Titans Return review, and I am proper excited about this one. I earlier on when I reviewed Blaster, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was meant to review Optimus Prime. I got my fucking schedule all wrong and ended up reviewing Blaster, and so I kind of swapped Blaster and Prime, and then I thought, well, no, because I want to do Soundwave, especially in light of this. So I've swapped Prime and Soundwave, so we've got the leaders in order are Blaster, Soundwave, Prime. Yeah, I'm fucking excited for this one. Just a quick note though, because as you can see there's two Soundwaves here. I'm not going to do a full review of the bitches, because there's like fucking, with two Soundwaves that leaves 6 bitches. Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, 2 versions, fucking Frenzy, Ravage, and Mongmonger or something. I can't remember his name. Howlaway or something like that. I'll get to that. But yeah, there's a lot of bitches, and I didn't really showcase Rewind and Stripes as much because I didn't show their other modes because they are triple changers. So what I'll do is I'll still use the bitches for this video as reference, but I'll do a separate review on the minions and stuff afterwards. And I'll even go back and show off Stripes and Rewind's other modes. So yeah, Titans Return Soundwave is this one. And this is one of the things that I saw in Argos, because Argos tends to carry the Target exclusives with some things. And the Argos website even listed this as a Target exclusive. This is the Bumblebee retool of Titans Return Soundwave. The John Bailey Soundwave. So, yeah. I wasn't going to do the intro skit with the whole Blaster Billy Soundblaster thing. I was going to repeat it at first, but then I've got 2 of these to do. I'll be comparing these two because there are quite a few differences, and then I'll be comparing them to Blaster as well. So that's another reason why the bitches are getting their own review, because otherwise we'll be here all day. But yeah, so Titans Return Soundwave with Soundblaster, who in the Headmasters animated series Soundwave was resurrected into, and Bumblebee Soundwave, he's still a Titans figure, so that's why he's in here. Bumblebee Soundwave with Doombox. So let's take a look first at the Titans Return one. Let's just move Bumblebee Soundwave, or Bailey Wave, out the way. He looks great. He just fucking... And like I said in the Blaster review, the only reason I waited so long on this guy was because I wanted a Blaster as well. And then they were both there at TF Nation in 2017. But I mean, the head is fucking phenomenal. It's so simple, yet so effective. It just, for a character that's supposed to be as uncharismatic or as unchrasmatic as Soundwave, he has a lot of character. I mean, the shoulder cannon there, it's got those 3 stripes on the back. The only real kibble, like with Blaster, is the boombox holder and the thick ass. But the head, it's simple, it's effective, it's Soundwave. And much like Blaster, with the chest compartment, you've got all that little nice detail in there as well. You've got the, is it red? Or it's bronze. You've got that bronze outline on the, or copper even, on the tape deck. And that Decepticon symbol, it all looks so lovely there. A bit of red and silver paint in the shoulders there. And then you go down and you've got pretty standard forearms. The nice red stripe that goes around, but when you're a tape player, there's really not a lot of detail you can throw in. Fists, simple. The waist has those buttons. The Bumblebee one I'll show you in a second, that says play on that piece there, the top tab. It says play. But yeah, then we'll go down. Nice sculpting on the legs, the shins and the knees. Nice bit of grey in there, darker grey to go with the makes the I think the thighs are silver painted actually. The top thigh part isn't, the hip, but the lower thighs are silver painted, and then you've got silver paint down here, and then the feet. And around the side you've got this detail, this like mesh kind of effect going on for like the speakers, and then around the back there's more of that. All in all, it's a really nice figure. Like I said with Blaster, I'm glad I was able to get both of them, because yeah, it was never that I didn't want Soundwave. It was just like I didn't want Soundwave if I didn't have Blaster. That's the way I see it. Let's have a look at Soundblaster. Here's Titan Master, and as you can see, he has quite the amusing head. It just looks weird. It's funny as fuck. And we showed off Twincast on Chrome Dome's torso, and that looked fine. This just looks, it's hilarious. Let me just move the body out of the way. It's fucking hilarious. It makes me laugh so much. It's that big fucking mouth plate with the pointy chin, that massive visor, and then nothing more than like, it's like cornrows on top, isn't it? It's got a cornrows vibe to it. It's like ghetto Soundwave with his ghetto blaster mode. It's just, it makes me smile so much. And I was thinking when I picked up the Bumblebee version, whether the head sculpt would be any different, and it isn't. So we've got two of these funny like fucking ghetto blaster, fucking like cornrow Soundblaster and Doombox. Let's check out the little man himself. If we can get enough focus on there. Oh, dropped him. Where is he? Let me put my foot up quickly, see if that helps alleviate the issue. If I could see. Yeah, we'll look at Soundblaster here. There we are, look. See, he's got the mouth plate's painted. It's a Soundwave head, which is nice. But you've got like the fucking speakers in the shins as well, and that's all painted up lovely and silver. It's a great Titan Master figure in this form, and he's fucking hilarious in his head form. Let's I've got Orion Pax here. He's got a red and blue, so the blue won't look too out of place. Let's just take off Orion Pax's head. Right, just for a quick reference, there you are, Orion Pax with the mouth, face, and the eyes, and then all that going on above, the crest and the horns and all that, like the helmet. I remember Blasters was kind of decent. But look at that. Look at fucking that. It's fucking... I get it, the helmet has to go over the top. But Apex still does a serviceable Optimus Prime or Orion Pax type head sculpt, independent of the Prime helmet on the leader class figure. that just it looks not so much, maybe not cornrows. It looks like he took his helmet off and took his hair or his scalp with him. He looks like he's been scalped. It's like if Soundwave was in Westworld and you met those Indian people that were just going around scalping fools. It just, but I love it. It's fucking, it just brightens my day seeing that head. It is just fucking, Pax can go back there for now because I'll get to you later. It just fucking makes me smile. Let's take a look at the Bumblebee version of Soundwave. And we'll get to a proper comparison eventually, but you know, it's got those nice, the red, the painted red in those, that missile, cannon on his shoulder. That looks fucking gorgeous. He's got black stripes on the cannon around the back as opposed to red. The head sculpt is pretty much the same, although this version has the almost gunmetal grey on those bits on the side there, as opposed to Soundwave's, the other Soundwave silver, and he has the yellow detailing around the tape deck edges. I believe the chest design is the same. If we go to the shoulders, then you've got more gunmetal in there and the silver again instead of the red. And then the forearms are more of a gunmetal grey with the red stripe as well. And then if you look closely at the crotch, there you can see it says play. Which is a weird place to have play. And he's also got some nice silver detailing on the edges of his hip plates as well. And then nice gunmetal grey thighs. But here's where it gets good, because the shins are different. He has different sculpted shins. We'll get to a proper comparison in a minute, but they've really, you know, the top half is pretty much the same as standard Titans Return Soundwave, but for the lower half, they've added different shins, and even the side and back panels are different as well. Gunmetal, like H things on the knees, and then a bit of yellow there, with some nice detailing at the bottom. The feet are the same, but round here, instead of that mesh, like speaker kind of mesh sort of thing, you've got these lines that's all painted in silver very nicely, and there, and then I think you've even got the frequency bars there. You've got the two nice yellow stripes on each leg, but you've got like the fucking, where you do the dial to find the fucking radio station and stuff, they've got that in there as well. And Soundwave Titan Return doesn't have that, because it's different moulding, so there's no room for that, there's no place for it. And I don't think Blaster would have it either, but he's differently moulded. No, Blaster doesn't have it either. The rifles are the same, except one's gunmetal, one's blue. And let's take a look at Doombox. See how he stacks up. Right, I'm going to take out Soundblaster for a sec as well, because there is some difference here as well. Oh, I need to move these bodies. Okay, they can go down there for a sec. Let the bodies hit the floor. Alright, so in my left hand is Titan's Return Soundblaster. In my right hand is Doombox. Just off the bat, the head sculpts are different. If you look, Soundwave has Soundblaster, has a fully painted mouth plate, whereas Doombox only has it partially. The sides are left in blue, which again, another nice touch. I also think, I don't know if it's just the lighting actually. In some circumstances, Soundblaster's visor part looks brighter than Doombox's visor part. Really want them to focus here. I'll put Soundblaster back for now, actually. We'll take a look at Doombox's robot mode. Which doesn't pop as much in the body anyway. If we can get it to focus on the... Just get decent focus on there. It's still got the speakers in the shins. Excuse me. But none of that silver paint, but he has, you can't see it very well, but there we go. He has the silver paint and the painted visor on the little head there. So, you know, they take away from there, they add it up top. That's a nice touch there. But yeah, all in all, Doombox is a decent Titan Master, as is Soundblaster. I'm just going to grab him out a sec. There's also another little difference. We probably won't get very good focus here. But Doombox has the grey chest that matches the legs, whereas Soundblaster has the blue chest. I don't think his visor's painted. I don't think so. But yeah. So the focus is shit here, but you can see the differences between the two. Anyway, let's head over yonder and we'll do a comparison between the two Soundwave figures. Actually, just quickly, forgot the points of articulation. It's the same as Blaster's. Head can do a full 360. Arms go out. They go around. Elbow swivel. Wrist goes in a little bit. No wrist swivel though. No waist swivel. Legs can go out, forwards, hindered a little bit by all this kibble. Can't go a full flat one. They go out, they bend at the knees, and thigh swivel as well. And the ankle tilt that can go both ways, up and down, left and right, and a bit of a toe thing as well. So, yeah, points of articulation done on Soundwave, they are the same. It's the same as Blaster. So, you know, not a lot to talk about there. Just wanted to get it out there quickly though. Anyway, onto the comparisons between Soundwave, and then we'll do Soundwave and Blaster. Okay, so there are the two Soundwave figures in all their glory. They do look fucking great. Like I said, the chests, bar the designs. By that I mean the like yellow around movie Soundwave and the bronze around Titan's Return Soundwave. And the Decepticon insignias both have the outlines, but I think movie Soundwave pops a bit better. But the actual detailing in the chest piece seems the same. I think pretty much colours aside, all up the top half of the figure, the detailing is the same, the sculpting. Obviously, the cannons are different. Soundwave's missiles are painted. They're not in here. He has the red stripes. Movie one has the grey stripes. Like I mentioned before, red and silver on the shoulders compared to the gunmetal grey and silver. And it might be the gunmetal grey, but it does seem to me like the blue on this Soundwave doesn't pop as much as the blue on there. But that might be a case of you've got a lot more brighter colours to complement the blue, whereas a lot of darker colours go with it on this. It's not a bad thing. They both look great. And yeah, this one does kind of, he's from the Bumblebee movie, so he's not going to be as bright. They did a great job fucking making him look that way anyway, but it's, I think blue's one of those colours where the saturation or the fucking how it pops depends on the colours around it. I think this is a good example of that. But yeah, forearms, they're sculpted the same, just obviously different colours. And Soundwave has, they're both Soundwave. Why do I do that? Bumblebee Soundwave has the gunmetal fists, whereas Titan's Return Soundwave has the blue fists. Obviously the crotch pieces are sculpted the same as well, and the hip plates. However, Bailey Soundwave, I'm just going to call him Bailey Soundwave, does have play carved in there, so not entirely identical sculpting. They've just added a little bit more in there, and the silver on the edges of the hip plates, on the corners. But the moulding's the same, they've just painted it. But it's downstairs, downstairs, where it really starts to take a difference. Silver thighs, but sculpted the same as those gunmetal thighs. It's the shins, and this entire assembly down below that is completely different, bar the feet. The feet are different as well. With Titan's Return Soundwave, you've got a little bit of grey here, and then you've got some nice panels and lines there, and then the yellow below it, those ridges, and then you've got the silver painted panels on here that all look gorgeous in standard feet. Whereas on let's try and get them both in together so you can see it. Let's move your gun up a bit. Yeah. There we go. Now, as you can see with Bailey Soundwave, let me just adjust his feet. He's standing fine, but can't be too careful. As you can see with Bailey Soundwave, he has a higher rising knee pad that's all in grey with that H effect. H for Hasbro, maybe? But yeah, that completely misses out all that and just puts something. It's not like they've just plonked it on top either, because if you look on either side, there are different. There's like those little lines that go down, those carvings that this one doesn't have. And then obviously down below, you've got that grey panel there, another grey panel with the two yellow lines going through it, so they've kept the yellow in the legs at least. And then down here, that nice detailing on those ankle panels, or the panels above the ankle. And then if we go around to the side, let me just uno momento. And we go around to the side, look. Now you can see the differences in the so I'm just trying to get it to focus. There we are. He's got that like speaker mesh type effect going on there. There's some nice panel line thing going down there and there. But this Soundwave has that lines going across there and down there, and then he's got the silver down the front, and then this like grid, like vent type of thing going down the side of his leg there. So yeah, a lot of differences It's basically completely different shins and calves and lower legs. Let's go around the back and take a look there. As you can see, Titan's Return has more of that mesh effect. Not a lot going on the inside of the calf. Just that nice mesh, which is more than enough. But Bailey Soundwave has, again, those vents going down there, the silver, and then the yellow lines that go up there, the two stripes, and these other unpainted vents at the top there, those ridges. And then he's also got the radio bandwave fucking bandwidth kind of fucking sticker effect going on there, which I find adorable. Let's bring in Blaster and we'll have a look at the three there, assuming I can fit them all. I should be able to fit them all in, but yeah, we'll do a full comparison with Titan's Return Blaster. Here they are, all three together. Obvious differences from the start. The helmet is different. At least the Soundwaves have identical helmets. It's struggling to focus again. Bar the paint, I believe the helmets are identically sculpted. I think so. You've also got that part where Doombox doesn't have the full painted mouth plate, so that comes through nicely. Adds a bit of a different dimension to it. Blaster doesn't have the shoulder cannon. He has the same sculpted shoulders as both Soundwaves, but his has a bit of extra paint because he has the silver and then that blue and then that little bit of yellow at the bottom there. Forearms appear to be the same, but Blaster doesn't have any paint on his. It's just red, which is fine. He's got the black hands, and you know, I'm not going to go colour comparisons here. Hip plates are different though. So the two Soundwaves have identically moulded hip plates, and even the crotch piece is different as well. That's moulded differently, which I believe Soundwave has like the one thing there, and this feels really wrong, but Blaster sort of like has a tooth cock. But yeah, you can see the difference in moulding and sculpting on the hip plates there and there. I think the thighs are different as well. Because if you notice, Soundwave has the lines going on the inside, whereas Blaster has the lines going on the outside. So it's almost like they've just swapped the thighs over, put them on the other side. Which, you know, it does something for it, I guess. Quickly before we go to the lower legs, the feet, you know, he has it painted. Neither Soundwave has their feet painted. But the legs is where it's all different. Again, Blaster has this nice detailing on the knee pad there with the speakers right in the middle there, and even at the bottom those blue bits with those two red lights, red circles on there, and some nice patterns across there. And if we look around the side's obviously going to be different. And we talked about Soundwave and Soundwave's differences. Blaster just has those massive like speaker type assembly on the side of his legs. Not a lot of subtle detail, unlike the other two. Not that that's a bad thing, because Blaster isn't exactly the subtlest of guys, is he? Oh shit! Sorry, dude. Stand up. Don't. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Blaster isn't exactly subtle, is he? So he's gonna have big ass fucking black discs on his It's almost like I don't know. My brother's the DJ, Dale, so I don't know. It's like and my other brother John's the techie. So it's like when a disk drive, when you take apart a computer and you've got the disk with the claws over it to hold it in place, sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of that. Let's get around the back. And again, it's more of that, the rest of the discs. Those black disc kind of things going around. It'll probably show up better in alt mode. I nearly said vehicle mode there. But yeah, it's those are the only real differences. Is like the hips and the legs, especially the lower legs. The upper legs look to have just been swapped over. The hip plating and the crotch is molded differently. The back all seems to be the same, but I ain't gonna cry about that. All in all, 3 fucking fantastic figures. And yes, I didn't need 2 Soundwaves. I didn't have to go out and buy the other one, but it was Christmas when I bought it. Christmas-ish. It was New Year's Eve, but yeah. It's one of those things where you don't need it, but, you know, I'm glad you picked it up, and I'm glad I picked it up. 2 very nice, well, 3 very nice figures, but Soundwave in particular, the differences are well worth it. There's just a lot to pick out with this figure. It's just great. Anyway, I'm going to get into the Boombox mode. Be right back. So yeah, that sculpting difference in the lower legs really shows up in the Boombox tape player, if you will. This is standard Titan's Return Soundwave Boombox mode. It's nice. It looks like a boombox with the speakers there. More modern type speakers as opposed to Blaster's 80s fucking round disc wanger things. Again, it's like the same thing with fucking Blaster. There's not a lot to discuss with the cassette mode. It's got the flip open panel which has the placeholder data disc in there, the tablet. I can't remember which one did one come with. It might have been Ravage that came with Soundwave, the Titan's Return one, because I've got Ravage, and I also have, I bought separately Laserbeak, and I'll show them off better when we get to base mode. Where are you? Yeah, here we are. And also Buzzsaw. So, yeah. 3 bitches for Titan's Return Soundwave. But, you know, the bitches are all interchangeable. I'll put them back, actually, so I'm not fucking catching things on my sleeve. It's just a stack of birds, isn't it? Let's put that back in there for now. And then the movie Soundwave, which is where that, you know, you can definitely see where the difference in what they were going for with it, with the more, it looks more 80s. Standard Titan's Return looks more modern, as modern as a tape player can be. It looks more modern than this one, which you know, this looks more like a WAV radio or a DAB, a digital radio sort of thing. This looks more like a good 1980s radio, and I can appreciate the effort that went into making this look different and look more 80s. As you can see it with those dials at the top, the stickers, but you know, you've got the dial effect there, and the yellow lines that go across on this vent looking speaker thing, which predates the soft meshy kind of fucking speaker covers. And obviously contrast that with Blasters. Both nice, both very 80s. I can't really do a full I'm not going to do a full comparison with all three. I'm just like showing off the differences between them. And then you've got the actual Titan's Return Blaster and the actual Titan's Return Soundwave and the Titan's Return Blaster there. So they're all decent little boombox modes. And yeah, the minions that came, well, they didn't come with it. You had to buy them separately, but they're part of the Bumblebee movie line. It came in like a 3-pack with a 1-step changer Bumblebee, or a 4-pack even. I gave the Bumblebee away because I didn't really want it, but I only bought it for the cassettes, or the tablets, and you got Frenzy with that. And you got a different colouring of Buzzsaw. You got like a more gold Buzzsaw, as opposed to the hard yellow that he is. And you also got Howl Away, or whatever it's called. It's like a blue Ravage, which I really like, because he kind of fits Soundwave's aesthetic. It's like if Ravage decided he wanted to look more like Soundwave and be a more loyal minion and wear the team colours. Quite like it. But those are the minions for briefly. Like I said, I'll do a proper review for all the bitches, because yeah, there's 8 bitches now that I need to go through. But yeah, the cassette modes, decent little boom boxes. And then we've got Blaster down there. Let's get Soundwave into his base mode, and we'll do this won't take as long, because the base modes, are like the tape cassette players, are gonna look the same. It's just any little decorative differences we're gonna be looking for there. Okay, so this won't take long because they are essentially all the same. Bit of overhang because I don't have a lot of space on this area. Yes, that's a duster. The main differences are really the internal sculpting on the inner legs, which is where you see more evidence of the resculpting on Titan's Return Soundwave. You've got that nice silver circular area there, and a more octagonal piece there, and a port for his gun, which can go on either side. Unlike this one, because of the difference in sculpting on the shins and calves, there's no port on this side for the cannon, so the cannon has to sit there. So all his weapons are pretty much all on this side, really. But he's got nice detailing in there, look. That's nice, I like that. Less so on this side, though. I think he still has the octagonal effect that Titan's Return Soundwave has, but it's not painted. Which is a shame, because it looks like it's more detailed. That would have been nice painted, because you can see the ridges there. But on the octagonal side there, it's all flat. So it's a shame that isn't painted up. But, you know. They also have shallower chest doors to Blaster, because Blaster has a nice thick yellow part around it. Also a little detail I neglected to mention earlier, that bit on his upper chest is painted silver. Standard Soundwave doesn't have that. The guns are the same. You got a triple barrel on there and a double barrel on that side. The placeholder discs, the tablets that go on the chest if you haven't got any bitches, they go on here. They're both in gunmetal, it looks like, but movie Soundwave has the red design there, the red paint, and standard Titan's Return has yellow paint. So those are the only real differences between them. The base modes are pretty much the same. I'm going to take this one out and put Blaster in for a sec, because I didn't really go over the detailing on his inner legs. And so, you know, it's the same thing, double barrel gun, triple barrel gun. He doesn't have, because he doesn't have a shoulder cannon, obviously, he doesn't have any sculpting for that or any ports for that. But he has a nice little bit of graffiti that I neglected to mention before, where it says danger there, that really isn't focusing as good as it should. Probably because my shadow's in the way. Let me just, coming out of the way a bit. There you go, I can see it better there. It says danger, with a nice little hazard kind of effect going on, and that's on both sides. So I like that neither side is the same. They're not identical on the inside. You've got different pattern designs on Soundwave there on the interior, and different patterns on Blaster, and also on the Bumblebee version of Soundwave as well, that's in the dark. But yeah, those are the bass mode comparisons. You've got the bitches that you can obviously show around. I'm not going to do that now because my battery is low. But like I said, I'll get to the bitches in the next review. That'll be a little extra one. Oh yeah, they fold down properly, don't they? Forgot about that. So yeah, they don't have to hang up as badly. Yeah, I think that about covers it for the bass modes. I'll leave them in bass mode for when I go to the bitches review, which is coming up next. Yeah, final thoughts. So yeah, that was my review of Titan's Return Soundwave and the Bumblebee movie redeco or retool. I really like those figures. I didn't think I'd like them as much as I did when I first picked them up, but they are fucking great. They're tons of fun to play with and just display in any mode, really. I don't know about the size. I kind of like that Blaster's the leader because the G1 Blaster toy was a lot bigger than the G1 Soundwave toy. So yeah, I can see why they went leader with them and gave them the base mode. I'm glad they've got the base mode because it would have been hard to do them as Voyagers, because what would their alt modes be? And how compromised would they look, or would they be, to fit in two different alt modes? With a tape player, a robot, and a bass, it's a lot easier. And considering leaders generally have the bass as their third option, it fits better into the leader class. Even if size-wise, they could probably do with not being leader class. I'm not complaining. I like that they're big, especially Blaster. Even Soundwave, because I don't think there was a size difference in the cartoon. So, you know, it works. But to make them Voyagers, you'd have had to have the robot, the tape deck, and then something else. And it's hard to imagine what that something else would be. And would it work? Or would it just compromise the robot and the tape deck modes, the cassette players? I don't know. Either way, no complaints about those figures. None of them. They're all great. I love them. I just really like those figures. And I'm really glad I got to pick them up. Bitches we'll get to next. Because, yeah, they kind of need their own review because there's quite a few of them now. So I'll do them all individually. Not individually, but I'll do them all collectively, but in a separate review. And I'll leave those in base mode as well, just so you can get a fucking thing of them pottering about. Yeah, so that's been my review of Titan's Return Soundwave with Soundblaster and the Bumblebee repaint of Soundwave with Doombox and the comparison with Blaster and Twincast. I've been Mike, Dezaras Prime. I will be back with another review soon. You shall see me then.